Good evening. I'm very pleased to present to you a special presentation of life's great lessons. And on this momentous day, I'm pleased to share with you life lessons from the Book of Peter. The Book of Peter tells us that certain foods are intended to be consumed in large quantities, namely pickles, guacamole, and ice cream.
It was when we were in Maine, high adventure, and finally my growth spurt came. I'd been waiting, patiently for a number of years, and I was growing like an inch every month, and we were, living out with like a medically insufficient number of calories. So I was really having a hard time starving, and you would kind of sneak food for me. In particular, I remember a theft of one of Steve Dryden's packets of powdered tuna, in which I ran into the woods and just started eating dried powdered tuna.
The Book of Peter also tells us if you're planning to go somewhere, study a map before you go.
I remember riding when the DC Metro first opened. We rode every last bit of that, every line, every station, end to end, and it has stuck with me to this day, and I still love riding a train in any way, shape, or form.
I wanted to mention a time that it was at Camp Marriott. It was one of my first times ever being away from home, and I was pretty homesick, having a hard time, as boys at Boy Scout camp tend to do from time to time. And you really took me for a walk. It took me down to the lake, and just took a kind of a gentle, kind of meditative experience there, in nature, in a beautiful place, and it kind of reset me and kind of made me kind of dive back into that experience and helped me move forward. And that was something I always remembered.
And if you go somewhere often, there are bound to be shortcuts that will help you arrive 2 minutes earlier. If you're having trouble making a decision, make a list of pros and cons. If you pinch pennies, it will bring your wife closer to pulling her hair out. Love what you do and do what you love.
All the jobs that you've ever talked about or engaged in have been, in a place of giving and in the helping profession, and come from a place of just wanting to help others be the best person that they can be. And I really believe that Zach saw that and saw the joy in that, even though it's hard sometimes. And it really stood out to me as being something really special in Zach, and I believe that he saw that through watching you and learning from you.
Purple socks go well with any outfit. Never let your kids win at anything. They will learn nothing from you letting them win.
I have lots of good memories of doing fun things together, Dad, and one of my favorites is when we would play jail. And for those who do not know what jail is, that would be Dad would find a narrow doorway and would block it with his body, and then we had to try to get to the other side by whatever means necessary. And trust me, we would work really hard to get past him, and he would hold us back. I mean, he would let us through, obviously, to let us feel good about ourselves, but we worked hard to get through there, and it was so much fun.
Meet your grandkids at their level. Literally, get down on the floor with them. And figuratively, make up funny sayings and funny noises.
My favorite memory is when I would laugh when Poppy would say, "Tickle monster."
All right, Ian, what's your favorite Poppy memory?
That I escaped from the tickle monster. Hey, Poppy, my favorite memory is when I escaped from the tickle monster 1 billion trillion times.
Both will ensure that you are their favorite grandparent.
When we had kids, I just was amazed by what kind of grandparent you were. You were always, and still are, so very involved, so proud of all of their accomplishments. You would play with them until you could barely walk. They would wear you out so much, but you always seemed to enjoy it. They always loved having you come visit.
My favorite memory is when me, you, Seamus, and Grandma Susie stayed up and watched this mystery show.
So my favorite moments with Poppy are playing sports with him. In our house, with 3 ultra-competitive boys, that could be a tough job sometimes. But Poppy was always willing to risk his safety and dignity to make sure Evan and I were having fun. I always remember playing pickle in the backyard and hockey in the driveway of the pond. No matter what we were playing, Poppy was always a good sport, which sometimes wasn't true for Evan and I. But Poppy would always put up with us, and I always loved playing sports with him.
My favorite memory played baseball at Little Lions, a real game. I really won. I was happy about that.
We had one of those baby Bjorn things you wear that you put the baby in on the front of you, and you came and visited, and you wore Grayson everywhere. We were worried you were going to take Grayson home with you because you were just obsessed with that kid, and it's a very sweet memory.
Do not replace things until they are broken. Once they are broken, move them to the basement, because you never know. Hugs are good medicine. Apply them liberally. And always, always remember to tell those close to you that you love them.
I love you, Dad.
I love you, Peter.
We all love you here. We're proud of you.
I love you.
We love you.
Happy birthday, Dad. I love you.
I call you, I need you in my heart.